What's up, everybody? I have been going through E3 with a fine-tooth comb and so much stuff. Yesterday, I was going to do a whole bunch of gaming podcasts. I never got to it, but one of the things that was brought to my attention multiple times by multiple people is how IGN responded to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the most divisive game at E3, they call it. But basically all it is Call of Duty again. It's Call of Duty again, but it looks more real and amazing than it ever has. And so, you know, when Call of Duty, and you guys can remember the news back in the 90s, if you're my age, if you're around my age, you remember when in the 90s, you know, news reports would come out like, are video games too real? Are they too real? It almost seems too real, blah, blah, blah. And these were the news stations that would say this. And then, of course, in the early 2000s, then it got really bad, right? And then, of course, in the 2005s and 8s, and once Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and things like that were coming out, you know, then they were really like, you know, these games are so real. But at that point, kind of like people got over it at that point, I feel like. They were like, yes, video games look very realistic and they're violent. Yes, okay, we get it. Nobody really, I feel like that sort of went away for a while in the news, you know. But here you have IGN, the gaming the gaming website, the website that's supposed to love realism in games and things like that, and they are shook. Like, these guys are legit shook. Now, I mean, just start at the beginning of this. It's very hilarious. It's like, we just have to talk about this. I've been sent so many clips by so many different people of these guys. It's hilarious. Now, I think some people have taken it out of context. They seemingly do like the game. One of them or two of them likes the game, and the rest are optimistic. But my God, man, it feels like they hate Call of Duty. And listen, I'm not even a Call of Duty fan that much anymore. I might play this one just because these guys are terrified of it. The fact that they're terrified of it is making me want to play it more. Like, it's actually doing the opposite.
Different preferences, thoughts. We're individuals.
At least personally, I feel like I don't necessarily want to play 15 to 20 hours of what I was just shown.
It's very jarring,
yes.
And I found myself feeling extremely uncomfortable during the demo.
Dude, she was uncomfortable during the demo. What are you doing working? Why did she go to this? You went to a Call of Duty demo where they showed you, I believe that what they were showing was like, you know, the cutscenes, I think, and then you actually, the carrying out of some of these missions or ops or whatever you call them. And a lot of them are based on real stuff. So that's what, I guess, freaked people out a little bit.
If they get it right, it's going to be one of the most memorable and probably best Call of Duties ever in this annual long-running series.
Hey, if they get it right, we might get it right. That guy should be like hosting fucking Wheel of Fortune, I feel like.
I hope the game isn't 10 hours of that sort of feel, because that would be very intense.
Did he say that sort of filth? Or that feel?
Hours of that sort of feel, because that would be very intense and ultimately not very fun.
It is extremely visceral, it is extremely unsettling, but in spite of all of that, or maybe because of that, I mean, it's my game of the show.
Wow, that guy liked it a lot.
The rules have changed. There's a fine line between right and wrong.
God damn, that does look real.
There's essentially a terror attack in London. Spoilers, by the way. There's a terror attack in London. Your cell, Captain Price, cell in this house.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's impressive.
It is one of the most visually impressive games I've seen.
Yeah, the attention
it does look
to detail.
Beautiful.
I think the most jarring part is that, of course, this is in London, and you're crawling through this house. I mean, crawling. You're stealth walking through this house with many people, many teams.
The girl on the left is like, this girl right here looks disgusted. God damn, she doesn't even look like a person.
Many guns. You got your night vision goggles. Like, you're all suited up. But you're going into a civilian house, essentially. And granted, they are terrorists, but it's still weird.
It's still weird. She didn't think it was weird in Grand Theft Auto when you bash someone's head in to take their car or whatever the hell. Like, I mean, like, are these people have they ever seen video games, some of them? I mean, dude, how much soy is being passed around IGN right now in the offices of this place? I mean, it sounds to me like some of these gaming reviewers, I mean, most of them are all jarred by Call of Duty. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty and shoot 'em up war, and it's all very real. I like Halo and stuff like that. It's a little bit less realistic myself, but I like realism too. You want like, well, oh my god, this is like real fucking life. I want that. You know, it's better you do it in the game than in real life. But my god, for everybody at IGN to be like, oh god, I'm just worried about how real it looks. What the fuck are we? What is happening? Ugh.
On a technical level, I thought they're doing some really interesting things. You know, adding in some new mechanics that will make gunplay, will make the game itself a lot more interesting.
Oh my god, I said gun! I'm terrified of this.
Reminded me of Mile High Club in the sense that there's, you're weaving your way through. There are a lot of people at very tricky angles.
Yeah.
There are non-combatants.
Yes.
And the line between non-combatant and combatant is every single level is explored to a greater degree.
Yes.
I think from a provocative sense, you start off, there are female combatants. There are female combatants being used as human shields that then grab a gun and try and shoot you.
Whether there are innocents involved or not, you have to kind of make that call as you go through.
And you're trying to do it as quietly as possible to not alert everyone else in the house.
Yeah,
and
because everyone has guns.
Yeah, everyone in this house has an AK-47 under their bed, it looks like.
It looked like they were incorporating some Rainbow Six kind of style.
Oh, it's just very weird. I don't know. People sent me a lot of these clips from the Call of Duty thing, and I never noticed it. I actually saw this clip the other day, and I was sitting there, and all these were all auto playing on my desktop, and I didn't even notice it. I was like typing away. I didn't even know. I guess I missed all of this.
So beautiful and so realistic. So when I have to then shoot these people, it looks like you're shooting, whether they're terrorists or not, of course.
Infinity looks like you're shooting. God, they look like real people that you're shooting, and
Board is intentionally pushing buttons on this.
They're intentionally pushing buttons on what? Oh my god, man! Like what was? Oh my god, were like games in the '90s intentionally pushing buttons when they came out with like Metal Gear Solid? Were they intentional pushing buttons when they came out with Call of Duties and Battlefields? And were they intentionally pushing buttons when they come out with this? No, the games are just looking better and better. They're looking more realistic and more better and better. Everyone's pushing, not buttons, everyone's pushing the limits, pushing to be the best. How can we make this even more realer? How can we make this even more immersive experience? And this guy is just like, oh god, what are they going? Oh no. You know, it'd be funny if people got what they wanted in the 90s and all those video games got banned in the 90s, and then this dorko never could play anything ever again. And he wouldn't even be at IGN right now. It's very, very bizarre. It's almost like they were paid to kind of crap on it. You know what I mean? Like, all these people said like some weird things about it. It's almost like that's coming soon. Like, ban the video game. There's too many guns in the video game or whatever. We're going to keep the real guns in real life, but oh no, the ones in the video game are a problem.
Infinity Ward is intentionally pushing buttons on this.
No,
and that
no, I don't know. I think they're intentionally making the most realistic game they could make, in my opinion. I mean, why? I mean, granted, I haven't seen all these demos maybe that they've seen, and perhaps I'm missing something.
That's a risky thing to do, but and maybe they'll fall flat on their face, and this game's going to end up being offensive to anyone who's served in the military. I don't know. That is entirely possible if they get it right. And they remember this game's being headed by a couple of former leads from Naughty Dog. You know, so there's a pedigree there. If they get it right, it's going to be one of the most memorable and probably best Call of Duties ever in this annual long running series.
I mean, I think it's really important to remember this was a demo. It was taken out of context, but in the context that they showed it to us, I felt uncomfortable, and it felt, I mean, I don't know, it just felt so real, and I know that's what they were going for, but I don't know, you can speak to this, but just like, that these are real life scenarios.
Right, and so the whole thing about Infinity Ward is going for is like these are instances taken out of the headlines, right? And when you approach that, it has to be done with such care.
Yep.
And the demo we saw wasn't really given that care because, of course, we don't have the context. We don't have anyone saying, hey, this is where we're at so far, why it's okay for us just to go into the house and shoot everybody in there instead of taking them prisoner, except for like 2 people. And it's...
Oh, man. Wow. I kind of get what they're saying. Like, the demo they were showed was just wild, but I guess it's like they're not really talking about the game. They're talking about, like, I mean, I guess they are because they're saying that, like, oh, the game took real-life scenarios, and it's the most realistic-looking game, and so that's weird. So I kind of, like, see what they're saying, and I guess the demo was, you know what I mean? Like, they said, but, oh, it has to be handled with care and all these things, like, I don't think it does. I don't know about that. It's a game. It's a video game. It's like it's like a movie that takes a real life tragedy or something, and the movie fucks it up, right? The movie makes whatever out of it, like, you know what I mean? And from different perspectives, the movie can piss you off. If you were at 9/11 and you saw that Nicolas Cage movie, maybe that movie pissed you off because you were like, that was nothing like what it was like. It was way worse. Or maybe you thought, oh, it was that bad. Or maybe you thought it really wasn't that bad. Or whatever. Depending on your experience, things are going to be different. But the good thing about this is it's a fucking video game! My God, man. Like, this is... They're talking about this like they, you know what I mean? Like it's like something in real life happened, like like it's a video game. Oh, wow.
I think that would have, if that had been tacked onto the end of that demo, like that would have, line coming out of the Modern Warfare reboot or reimagining, whatever you want to call it, if the headline coming out of this was, you can play this game non-lethally, I think that would have, if that had been tacked onto the end of that demo, like that would have really changed my opinion of it.
I think
non-lethally? If you can play the game non-lethally? Is he talking about, like, not killing people in a war game? Is that what he's talking about? Am I missing something about the game that, I mean, like, that I don't... Is he talking about killing people non-lethally? Man, if you'd been able to take care of this non-lethally, is the game still called Modern Warfare? Or is it called Modern Stealth Fare? I mean, what? Non-lethally? Did he just say that?
Reimagining, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, like, if I got my non-lethally...
If the headline coming out of this was, you can play this game non-lethally, I think that would have, if that had been tacked onto the end of that demo, like that would have really changed my opinion of it.
I think it's how this moral system pays off, if there is any element of choice, and the story they're trying to tell. Is it just a realistic, gritty story that I read on the news every day? Because that's not a game I want to play, really.
For now, the gameplay that I saw,
yes,
I'm with you. I thought it was compelling, it was interesting, and I'm already more interested in the Call of Duty campaign than I have been in years. And I know that's like,
that's how I feel about this. Like, because I haven't given a crap about the Call of Duty stuff, and I'm like, man, this looks so crazy real and everything. So basically, that last guy was trying to say, like, if there's choice in the game, like, he wants choice. He wants to be able to be like, all right, listen, we're going into the terrorist house where these people have killed many people and murdered people. So we're going into the terrorist house, and, you know, if they whip out their guns and stuff like that, I would like to non-lethally, like, take care of them. Like, is there a way we can shoot a rubber bullet at their head and then chloroform them and then handcuff them? So that's what the guy wants. He wants the game to literally not be lethal, right? He wants the choice of, okay, let's not go in there and kill anybody. Like, but you could die if you make that decision, I guess. I don't know. Is that what he's saying? It's a video game! Why are you going? Why do you work at IGN? Number one, why do you work at IGN? Number two, why did you go to this demo? If you don't like the idea of killing people in a video game, then you should not be going to shooter demos, right? Where you're killing things or killing people. I mean, dude, did you ever play Pac-Man? You know, I liked, you know, I would like Pac-Man, but only if maybe instead of eating the ghosts or eating the other players or whatever they are, I don't even remember anymore, for Christ's sake, but eating them, instead of that, Pac-Man, because they essentially die, and I don't like death. And when they hit Pac-Man, he essentially dies. So it'd be nicer if what happens is when you catch them and you put them on your back and like you keep them, but now they can't attack you, and then later on you just drop them off to the side, because I'm just uncomfortable with killing anything in a game. So I mean, Resident Evil, humans get eaten. You shoot people in Resident Evil, so Resident Evil's out the window for him. Pac-Man's out the window if he's really soy. I mean, just I don't know. People sent me this. Some people were going way overboard. I saw a couple other people review this video. I saw a couple other people who sent me it out of context, and they buried these guys more than I'm burying them. They were like, these guys are straight up loser psychos. Now I think they do give the game a little bit of a fair chance, but they have this weird, like, they're clearly jarred from whatever demo they were shown. But I think a couple of them go way over the line, like that guy saying non-lethal ways, and the girl at the beginning on the left, she looks like she's gonna be sick. You know, it's a video game. You know, I mean, I myself, I'm not really into Call of Duty anymore. I'd rather sit here and play Diablo 3 still, for God's sake. But I just found this hilarious. I don't know, like, it's still pretty damn funny. Like, what are they gonna say next? Like, oh,
it's like a backhanded compliment at this point, but it's actually true. I am
it's true for me as well.
Very interested in what's going on with this game.
I'm looking forward to seeing more, to see what the whole game is. I don't know if it'll be fun, but it's doing something different, so I'm giving it that at least.
Is that okay for video games to do? I think absolutely. I think it's a medium to tell stories. I hope that Call of Duty tread the line between being respectful, and I hope their intentions are altruistic here. I want to see more, frankly.
Me too.
We'll see. Again, open-minded. I'm excited to see the multiplayer.
I just want to see multiplayer.
Yes.
Like, that's what we love.
That's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. At the end, they seem kind of optimistic about it. They were just kind of like, it sounds like to me it sounds like to me the combination of this really happened, like these terrorist attacks have really happened, these ops or whatever have really happened. So it sounds like to me, knowing that this really happened, and then seeing the visual footage of this very, very realistic video game, it sounds like that combination made some of them uneasy, which I can understand. I really can. Like, we make fun of them and we make fun of it, and I've seen other people bury them. But what I get out of this video is, I wish I could see that goddamn demo that they saw. You know, I'd like to see what they saw. But that being said, we come out of this basically with IGN. If you could give this a rating, I think IGN gave the Modern Warfare demo a cringe rating. Like, they came out of there, you know, they came out of there with a cringe rating. I don't know. Like, I picture if they had a thumbnail, normally if they love the game, they'd be like, and if they didn't like the game, they'd be like, but I feel like their thumbnail would be like this. Oh! Like, or whatever. Like they just saw their mother eaten by a goddamn Godzilla. All right, well, anyway, what do you guys think about that in IGN? And what do you think about Modern Warfare? And are you guys going to be picking up, and girls, going to be picking up Modern Warfare as well? I think I might after all this shock and awe, because I don't know, man. As much as like real life stuff makes me uneasy, you know what I mean? To be honest, I don't really like. It's like that's weird, but at the same time, I don't give a shit either. So, you know, maybe I'll like it. You know, you could have not told me any of it was real, and I wouldn't have cared. You know, I mean, I wonder if they would have been okay if they had these scenarios that weren't like actual real life scenarios. I guess, but I mean, everything's a real life scenario at this point. Who gives a crap? It's a game. I just keep coming back to that. It's a game. It's a game. Anyway, what do you think? Leave in the comments down below. If you guys want to support me on my Patreon, please do that, because I will be demonetized because YouTube hates me. and you want to stick in touch with me, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. You may be watching this video on Corrupted Nation, Joe Cronin Show, or my gaming channel, Battle Royal Battalion, or twitch.tv/Joe Cronin JCS. All the links are down below. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos, and I'll see you later. It's just really real. It's really real to me.